Hallo miteinander, I'm Gish86, and this is my newest Let's Play, a short and humble one for a short and humble game, Soul Anchor. It is a Toho fan game, a platformer starring the only character in the franchise who casually shoulders a ship's anchor, Captain Murasa Minamitsu. At the moment, Soul Anchor isn't translated. I don't want to sound mean, but I doubt that will change. It is both obscure, and the language barrier beyond understanding the story is actually pretty tiny. Many other titles will take priority over this one among translators of Dojin. And here's our protagonist Murasa, the redeemed sea wraith and now pious Buddhist. Our colleague Nasrin seems to have been roughed up pretty badly. Let's go, you landlubbers, and find the scurvy dog who did this. Your first impression should be that of a very standard 2D game, but Soul Anchor is extremely focused on hookshot mechanics. More than anything else, grappling, climbing, and swinging with our anchor is the heart of the gameplay. Apart from that, Murasa has her ladle as another weapon, the one she used to sink ships with. Swing it 3 times quickly, and you will spray ghostly water in a wide arc. Those 4 fairies were placed perfectly for the use of the ladle. That's good. I approve. The first stage of Soul Anchor is fairly tame and has a generous time limit. It is great for teaching new players without putting them under too much pressure, as it should be. I am by no means a new player of this game, but from what is coming up, you might think I was. Generally, you can shoot your anchor in 3 directions: upwards, diagonally upwards, and sideways. I guess my hands here were still a little bit clunky, because I didn't always aim where I wanted to. If Murasa is pushed into a wall while grappling, like just then, she will automatically release. That can be hazardous, but right now it wasn't really. Right now we can still allow ourselves a mistake or two. Is it possible to get up there this century? It is! That also marks the end of the first stage and the start of the first boss fight. Who are we up against? Cirno. Always a suitable character to include, as she doesn't need much of a reason to fight. She's just always around somewhere, being annoying and aggressive. Every boss fight in the game starts with an instructional picture. For Cirno, we just have to grapple close to her and hit her with our anchor. I don't know if you can hit her with your ladle. I highly doubt you can. Cirno only has 5 hit points, so this should be quick and easy. We have more than 5 hit points ourselves. It's very unusual for the player to be tankier than the boss. It makes a lot of sense that you need to land more hits than your foe in a video game, but that is not the case here. It is already over, and we are proclaimed the winner. Yup, we are winner. You'd think now that Soul Anchor would call you a loser if you lost, but it respects your feelings and will just say lose instead. How nice of it. With Cirno out of the way, we move on to Stage 2, or Scenario 2 as it calls it. This is also a very basic stage, but it has surprisingly many grappling points close to each other, which in turn motivates you to make chains. In this game, your chain counter has nothing to do with the enemies you fight. Instead, chains build up when you connect from hook to hook with your anchor, without touching solid ground in between. Doing so resets your combo, so to say. The reason you want to get a long chain is because each grapple point you hit replenishes your time limit. If you have a big chain counter, you will receive even more bonus time. Time is indeed pretty important in Soul Anchor. I can assure you that running out of time is a much more likely cause of death than your hit points hitting 0. Murasa is impressively sturdy. Down here is a beginner's trap. You can't see those bamboo spikes in advance. Blind drops aren't exactly classy when it comes to game design. They make you feel somewhat cheated, but at least those spikes don't deal a lot of damage as well. Up ahead is an area where it's easy to build up a decent chain, a good example for what I mentioned before. Keep an eye on the time in the top right, we won't be losing all that much of it. And that was a switch. It opened up the path we are heading to right now, this one. It leads to the home stretch of the stage, another big open area with many hooks to swing to. By the way, green and purple fairies such as this one are invincible. Don't bother trying to attack them, just stay out of the way. You know, I wish that were some good info, but this was the last we'll ever see of them. There are like 3 of them in the game. And done. Our next enemy is a very popular character. I can't recall Green Lady's name right now. Help me out, Zwei. Who was your favorite Toho again? Oh, of course, the miracle worker, Sanae Kochiya. Thanks, man. Unlike Chirno, we don't actually need to eliminate Sanae. The challenge is a race to the top to grab a UFO before she does. If Sanae gets to it first, we lose a life. The same happens if we drop to the bottom of the scrolling screen. The objective sounds pretty cool and clever on paper. I really don't like the encounter with Sanae. Unfortunately, it is not very good. The main idea is to grapple both swiftly and carefully, while also hitting Sanae with your ladle to throw her off balance and impede her progress. Sadly, Sanae's programming seems to be a bit shoddy. Sometimes she takes frequent breaks, other times she goes very fast. The effect of your attacks can also be strangely arbitrary. They may do the trick, but I've had attempts where Sanae just shrugged the hits off. There's another questionable design choice here, the one that the screen auto-scrolls. Sanae can pass you and even outrun the scrolling, but you never can. If that ever happens to you, you have no chance to catch up and you've basically lost. Luckily, everything went smoothly for us. That one time when Sanae intercepted our anchor was a pretty scary moment. We almost fell down. Had we done so, you get 3 lives to beat any boss in this game. If you lose them all, you are automatically moved on to the next stage. However, that also means you won't be awarded the highest rank at the end. The different rankings are your endings. Okay, scenario 3. This one is mostly about a new gimmick it introduces, pulleys. Here's one already. Some of them can go very fast downhill, this one is still reasonably slow. You might have noticed that defeated fairies drop some green pickups. These regenerate health, most of the time we don't actually need any. They also increase our meaningless score, but more importantly, they make Murasa happy. Yes, every time we collect some, the artwork in the lower right cheers up. That's adorable, isn't it? On the flip side, she also flinches whenever we get hit. All in all, it is a cute touch. All the drawings in Soul Anchor are pleasant to me. Here's the next set of pulleys. Unlike the last, these are way quicker. You need good reflexes if you don't want to collide with any fairies, and jump off at the right moment. Had we managed that, we could have reached another grappling point back there, and taken an alternative and slightly quicker route, but this one is good too. It has even more pulleys, which are so much fun. If you can stay on them, that is. Damn, we did not want to be down here. We also can't get back up again. We have no choice but to sink our tender feet into the spiky bamboo and head forward. Not one of the finer moments of the LP. Yet, you could do much better here, but still fail at the moments where it really matters. Moments we will get to soon, but not today. We will stop at Scenario 3's boss, who is close by. We couldn't stay in Scenario 3 much longer anyway, as a brief look at our time limit will tell you. Once it gets really low, the rocking rendition of Murasa's theme gets exchanged with an even more hectic version. That's how you know you really have to hurry up. And here's the exit. I'm Gash86, this was Soul Anchor, and next time we must use our experience with the pulleys against an ordinary witch. Bis bald!